All right, so I'm going to be showing you guys exactly the way we spot false breakup structures. Why is it important to spot them? Because you don't want to be involved with any kinds of traps, right? Smart money traps. Because automatically, when you have an SMT, you most likely have an FBOS before, right? So it would be the opposite. FBOS, then SMT, okay? There's two ways to spot them. There's one way that is really easy and that doesn't really work properly every single time, but at least it helps you train the eye. And then there's the regular one that I always use, but it's a little bit more complex. So FBOS is simple. It's when the structure is broken because traders are expecting to have a POI selection in here, right? Let me just remove this, put this here. This would be easy here, like this, boom, boom. And for them, this is called a break of structure, right? Or a change of character. I think a lot of you guys already know what this is, right? But there's also another way to spot FBOSes, or at least the intentions of FBOSes. It's when you have kind of a trend line being broken to the downside or the upside, right? Let's go on AUD USD August 19 and let's check together. As you can see here, we have this candle that closed below this structural point. This point led to the new high, right? So this is a valid structural leg. We'll talk about structural legs in another video. And then this point broke below. And as we can see, this zone became a smart money trap. So there is clear liquidity above. Why? Because they have their indication, their alerts. Here, their FBOS, but this is called a break of structure for them or a change of character. But for us, we understand that this is a trap. You can see it like the more you practice your eyes and the more you trade and understand our concept, you will see easily how traps happen. Look the speed and momentum of those candles. Look how it comes fast to this point and then leaves. And at the same time takes this liquidity of this structural valid point, right? So this is something you have to train your eyes, and this is why it's important to have clear gut feeling of what these traders think and what they see. They see this candle pushing, right, breaking this structure. They just expect this to come back. Look how fast. I'm gonna take this one. It's a little bit more valid, right? Look how fast it came back to their POI. They're like, I'm taking that entry, right? And this is something that happens all over again. For me, the way I spot those FBOS is I check the structure, I see when it's being broken, and I know that it's going upside. But there's also with the trend line trick, you can use this line here, and you can see that this broke here. When you have trend lines that breaks like this, you can call those false break of structure also, but what you want to search for is structural inducement. In this case, this point here, right? There's this point that got induced. So this adds even more weight to this false break of structure, right? And some would say, Joe, how come this point hasn't been induced? Excellent question. Remember, we're looking for entry points and stop losses location. This point led to the new high with this structural high here, break here, right? This point Tell me exactly what this point did. Nothing. It hasn't made a new high, so it means there's no valid or at least important liquidity. Because some would say, yeah, but this is a leg that pushed a new high. You are right. But when you look at it as a refined way, you can understand the reason why we haven't taken this low here. Doesn't mean there's no liquidity. It just means that it's less important. Okay. So as we can see, this FBOS happened, and you can see how price provides a beautiful entry to trade into the trap, right? This is really, really something that will start working in your head, and you will understand that, okay, so every time there's a trap, there's potential an entry. We'll get to this one day. But for now, my goal is just to understand and make sure you understand that having those structural breaks entices traders to enter. Sorry, I took a drink because I'm in my throat. Okay, so now let's go back and try to understand why is sometimes those FBOSs not valid. Remember, you always need to look to the left. In this case, this is AUD USD. AUD USD is a pair that moves a lot at Asia, so sometimes there's relevance happening inside Asia. And as you can see, pushing higher here, comes back, mitigate this zone to go lower, but there's nothing to the left. So a lot of you guys see Asia high induced like this. We will have this inducement done here. And then a lot of you guys would just try to over refine and like do the types of entry I do and like trade like this and then get smoked, right? Like this and get smoked. But always look to the left. Always look to the left. What is the story? All right, we have an Asia high here, right? And we can even go higher in time frame so it can help your eyes. I just do everything on M5, but look, there's this structural point here. There's still this. There's all that crap to get to the left. Try to not try to take counter trend trades. Understand that those false breaker structure happens on and on and on. So I'll give you a better example now that doesn't have a structural inducement, but still has a valid FBOS. You can see this trend line here. This trend line is being broken to the downside, the same way that this one here, and we trade away, right? Constantly the same thing. You can see here. Oh, boom. Now we have that structural inducement, right? And we even have price inducing lower, then creating those equal highs and providing with an entry also. It's simple. You have an inducement, you most likely will have an entry. Your goal is to identify which trap you want to trade into or away from. In this case, away and into this trap. Away, into this trap. So the trap here consists of being the zone here. And I'm not faking it. Look how perfectly it reacts to those SMTs, right? SMT, SMT constantly. So to recap what I just said, two ways of finding false breaker structure. Either we have a structural break to confirm that SMT, right? Structural break here. So FBOS here. And when the price is a little bit more noisy and harder to trap to see, we can see with a trend line. So let's say this price would do this, and this, like this. I'll fix this, don't worry, like that. No real structural inducement, super clean, right? Something like that. You get the idea. So these are two variations of false breakup structure, are very important to spot. Because the last thing I want you guys to do, because I already know a lot of you guys do this mistake. I have, I'll do this. My OCD is kicking, sorry. Oops. Here we go. And I'll put this in black, because I already know a lot of you guys see Asia do this thing, then do this, then this, and you guys expect this. But you never look to the left what's happening. And the FBOS was done here. So the trap is here. Yes. But if there's nothing to the left, the trap is here, sorry. If there's nothing to the left, why would you try to take shorts? Try to trade in line with the trend instead of always trying to take counter trend trades. And to spot those traps, those POIs, or those little trades that you get stuck in trying to trade away against the trend, try to spot those false breaker structure. It will help you. So I'm sorry if that video was pretty messed up. I just think it's a really important topic, and we'll do multiple videos about it. It's just that trading false breakup structure will help you tremendously on being away from traps. So see you guys in the next video.